All right.
All right, welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof, everybody. We got a little mixed group here today, coming to you live for PGA Championship week. We got myself, Matt, a couple friends of the program, TJ and Paul, and then Joey joining us this week. So we'll start with our usual, where you calling from, what you sipping on, and we'll start it off with you, Joe.
Yeah. Then sunny New Hampshire. Just actually got back from New York, fully vaccinated now, NBD. I got back drinking on shout out Travis Scott, the Cacti Seltzers. A lot of people said they didn't like them. I don't mind them at all. The lime flavor is shit, but strawberry and pineapple, not so bad. Ollie, what are you drinking on today?
Calling in from Boston, Mass. Hometown. I still working on my Coronas from Cinco de Mayo. It's been a long couple weeks, and just haven't had around to polish them off. So here I am.
Get a fun off, Paul. Jesus.
How about you, TJ?
Chip away.
So I'm drinking whiskey sour from Dogfish, the canned cocktails. Joey, if you haven't tried this yet, oh man, it's delicious.
Are they in New Hampshire?
What's that?
Do you have them in New Hampshire?
Oh yeah, absolutely. After this, I'll search it up for you. They certainly should have them, but put it over some ice. Golf course, unbelievable. Can't beat it. So
that sounds like it's up my alley. So I need some.
Fair warning, Joe. They're dangerous. They're like 9%. So tread carefully.
Well, I'll say actually, these cacti they're 7%, and like I slammed two like relatively quick, not quickly, but like hour and a half, and like I had a good buzz. Granted, I don't drink a lot. I'm kind of a lightweight now, but that's besides the point. But yeah, all about them. It's lit, as Travis Scott would say.
it's lit.
Quite a diverse grouping we got tonight, and I'm gonna make it even a little weirder. I got a little 4 rows of small batch cooking tonight. Back on the bourbon train, just ate dinner. Didn't want to start getting into beers right after that. Coming from actually the room tonight. Usually we're in a little office space for recording, but we're straight in the bedroom tonight. We got, the GOAT Tiger Woods above me here, looking over my shoulder as always. And we got some golf to talk about. We had AT&T Byron last week in Dallas. That was an absolute birdie fest. Shout out KH Lee with the dub. Not many people picked him, but impressive stuff. I don't know if he finished at 24 or 25 under, but ridiculous stuff. Kind of a wild finish in the rain with they're squeegeeing the green and then he's putting 30 seconds after, kind of all over the place. It kind of felt like they're like, all right, let's get this thing done. We don't need this to leak into Monday of a major championship week. We got to make sure we get this done today. But what do you guys have for thoughts on this? I mean, I didn't watch a ton of it after the first couple of days, following some of our, if you're not already following the gambling segment we're doing over on the YouTube is on fire after 2 episodes. We had TJ, shout out.
We are cooking right now over there.
Yeah, Johnny Vegas with the top 10 out of the clouds. That was it. We had Paulie hitting the first round leader with Jordan Speed.
Oh, yeah.
And Whaley, our guy, dark horse with just a solid showing out there. So if you haven't already looked at that, definitely check that out for this week's PGA. And I'm sure everybody's going to be gambling one way or another on, so make sure you give that a shout out. But after Friday, I didn't follow too much of this, just got busy playing my own kind of golf this weekend. What do you guys have for thoughts? I mean, the scores were stupid low. Honestly, some big names kind of were up and around, but then come Saturday, Sunday, everybody kind of fell back. But what did you guys have for thoughts there?
I you just kind of said, I didn't get to watch any of it, but going back, I kind of wish I did just crazy to see guys go so low like that. So, I mean, the course obviously wasn't playing too hard in any way, shape, or form. And, I mean, it's cool to see him go that low, but you do want to see a challenge for him in some way, shape, or form. You don't really want to see a score that low. So, I'm very curious to see if, will it – because it was the first time at that venue, right? I mean, I know we were talking about it different tournaments there. But, would they bring it back next year to that same venue? I mean, do they sign – I don't know how it works. That's the thing. But yeah, so I'm curious if they would go back there after seeing how low those guys just went. But
what the tough part was, and I'll start with what I was looking for, right? It was a video game course. Scores were being posted that you make in 2K21. It was unbelievable. But when it comes down to looking at it, this is the week I was preparing for. What guys are starting to do well, what guys are trending in the right direction. So it was actually really hard because of how well they were scoring to figure out like what guys this week is that going to translate to, right? I mean, he has the guys like is Cao Hung Lee, whatever. Is he going off this week? I don't know, man. Like, but to get a good idea of what it was for this week, it was tough. I don't know how much you can justify this past week. It was down in Dallas, Texas, and that area. So going over to South Carolina, like, other than that, it was just fun to see. I like seeing birdies. It's fun when putts go in.
Yeah, absolutely. I
There's
don't
parts
argue
on
that.
there too. That's the entertaining part. So no, I mean, surprised Sam Burns let that go though. I can't believe he just died. But he's done that kind of a little bit here. But it was interesting. It was a lot of birdies. It was good.
It's honestly, as much as it like seems like, like you said, right, you don't even know who's actually playing really well because everybody's playing well. It's like, you can't really stand out, right, or like make a statement because the leaderboard is just stuffed with birdies everywhere. But it is just like for the golf hardos out there that, they play once or twice a week, they're single digit handicap, they think they know everything about golf, and they sit on their couch and be like, I can't believe you hit that shot, or that's so bad, like all that stuff. You give these guys a normal, right? And all it was is just easy conditions. It's still over 7,000 yards, all this shit. Slope was or the rating on it's like probably 73 plus at least, right? For most golf courses. Like they turned it into a chip and putt and it's 7,000 yards. Like you put any other 6 handicap on their couch, it's like, oh, these guys stink. Like, how would they hit that shot? Like, think that they know better than like the pros do. Like, this is just a good reminder to be like, hey, these guys are ridiculous. And if you don't give them the most severe conditions, difficult golf courses, borderline unfair conditions like we've seen at US Opens with like Shinnecock or whatever, stuff like that. Like if you don't give them the hardest of the hardest in the world, they're going to shoot 20 plus under every week. So it's like, as much as it's not the funnest to watch sometimes because of, like you said, the leaderboard just gets packed. You have people that you don't even know if they're even playing well because it's like everybody just birdies, 6, 7 birdies around without even really looking like they're trying too hard. But it's like, that's just like the beauty of how good these guys are. I try to like, because I agree, like watching, I'm like, I don't know, but it's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, let's just remind ourselves that like they come and play anybody's, local course or where they're a member at, like this is what they would do. So everybody needs to just appreciate it every once in a while. Granted, they can't do this every week, but I think they will keep going back to Greg Ranch because it's all about like sponsors and if they can put people on site. And this one, I think that was the biggest feedback from the course before is that like hospitality wise, it didn't have the right setup and this one was a lot better. So I think the sponsors are going to love that more because they can put up their tents and, sell more tickets. I mean, granted, COVID gets in the way of that a little bit, but I think it was done more for that purpose than the golf course purpose. Unfortunately, it was more for the hospitality and like the extracurriculars that the sponsors care about versus like the quality or the challenge that the golf course brings. It also had no wind this week, which always is like the biggest variable these guys need to impact them.
Yeah.
With that
yeah, I mean,
like, with that being said, we kind of just transition into Kiawah, which I feel like the conditions are going to be the complete opposite of what we just saw last week. I mean, the course is playing at 78, 79, almost 8,000 yards, and the longest. Is it the longest? I know it's in the PGA Championship, but that's got to be the longest in any tournament ever.
Yes, it is. Longest major history. To kind of give you a little update what the weather's going to be like, because that's a major topic this week. Right on the coast of South Carolina, right in Charleston area, you got Thursday 77 degrees, but you got wind blowing from the east at 11 miles per hour. Friday still blowing from the east, a little bit northeast at 12 miles per hour. Saturday 80 degrees, 9 miles per hour, blowing from the same direction. And then Sunday, this is where it changed. It goes southwest, which if you're going back towards the clubhouse, if you move south from the course, you're going to be dead into the wind. So it's going to be interesting. The ball shapes are going to be pretty interesting. Not many high shots. You're going to see a lot of guys low. Creativity beyond the unbearable. So it'll be fun. It really is. Weather's going to make it a real treat for us.
So did you say Sunday has a different wind than the rest of the days?
Yeah, it's a southwest wind.
And also you got two into the weather, but do we know what the prevailing wind, what the normal wind is? Is that
That's the normal wins out of the East, I think, normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and shout out No Laying Up. I was listening to these guys. And if you want to get a better understanding of Kiawah going into this week, listen to their 1991 Ryder Cup like deep dive episode they did, because that Ryder Cup was hosted at Kiawah, and they go all into the golf course and stuff like that. So it's a good little like background info kind of thing to get under your belt before this week. But I think from what I am gathering, looking at all the articles and talking about the wind and stuff like that, the east wind is the harder of the winds, because your first 4 or 5 holes dead into the wind, and then 16 or 15, 16, 17, 18, or 16, 17, 18 dead in the wind, and then the west wind it switches. So at least that's what I'm like finding on. That's what No Laying Up guys are talking about. That's what I'm like reading when I, get some, insight for this week. So it'll be interesting to see how, because especially through like the first 3 rounds of a tournament, and if you're towards the top half of that leaderboard, you've kind of got the wind figured out if it's going to be consistent the first 3 days. And then to go into a final round and have it switch on all the holes, because it's set up very links style golf course where it goes like straight out, straight back in, straight out, straight back in. Yeah. So it's either into the wind or downwind. You're not going across a lot. So I think it's going to be interesting to have holes that are, the day before you maybe hit a 3-wood and a wedge in. Now you're hitting a driver and a 7-iron just because of a wind switch, and having to like see how these guys handle that. I mean, they're the best in the world, so it'd be awesome to see them handle it. But I know I would be a disaster trying to like play the hole one day later and it'd be a completely different golf hole. I think that's going to be so interesting to watch come Sunday when the leaders are going out on a golf course that they played at, elite level for the first 3 days. Everything just switch on it, and then see how they are like able to just like quickly adjust, and like their shots into greens coming in with different clubs and all that kind of different stuff that these guys are so good at, and that's required at, major championship golf levels. I think that's going to be like very interesting to watch come Sunday. And the other thing to consider with the wind is like 12-mile-an-hour winds like may not seem like a lot, but when it's on the coast off the ocean, that's like pretty good wind, because it's like, in New England, 12-mile-an-hour winds you might not even notice because there's trees everywhere, right? They got no trees out there. It's just right off.
That's kind of what I was thinking when TJ was saying that. But yeah, there's an ocean.
It's just a little. It may not seem like
constant breeze all course long, all day long. It doesn't stop. Very rarely will you get a gust that just comes to a near a standstill. You won't. I guarantee it throughout the 4 days there. So it's gonna be a true challenge. I'm actually interested to see or hear the conversation of like Jordan Spieth and him and his caddy there. Was it Joe? What's his name again?
Michael.
That's right. That's going to be really interesting. We've seen some content that popped up over the last week. Some of those bad lies, what Jordan wants to do, and put it all on himself. Like, I'm interested to see that this week. With the wind and thinking some of these shots, being creative. There's some holes that you're gonna have to lay up. I mean, some holes that you have to put in a spot where gives you a better chance at getting to the hole. It's really about execution, and if the wind picks up, just makes it even more fun for us. Love, of course, that you get a couple bogeys here and a couple challenges. Want to see these guys sweat it out, but really seeing that content part, going and breaking down a shot, I think that's going to be powerful. It's going to be good to see.
I think that's going to be really interesting this week with player caddy conversations, because you have the new idea, or the rangefinders coming into play. And
how that's right.
Yeah. And so how they're allowed to use rangefinders this week for the first time on a PGA Tour event.
In competition, yeah.
So
normally,
competition?
Yeah.
Normally what they do, right, I guess for the listeners back home that might not be as golf nerds as we are, normally their caddies go out, either the week before, or if they played a million times, they have their yardage book from whenever they did it. But they walk the course with their rangefinders. They got the slope adjuster on there. As long as you're not in competition, you can use those things. And that's how they make their little yardage books. They'll go stand on a sprinkler head and be like, from this sprinkler head, which is where my guy is normally going to hit his tee shots because they're all that good, it's 155 yards to the middle, plays up about 6 yards. Like, they write all that stuff down, and that's what being a good caddy is, right? Like, other than like managing your pro during the tournament, it's that underlying work that you don't see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that these caddies do that makes them, earn those paychecks they get from their guys, that 10% they get every week. Where now, like, it kind of takes that away because they can't use the slope adjuster, I guess, is what they're taking off the rangefinders. But still, you can use it out there. So you get offline or whatever, you don't want to use your book, you have that as an option, or you can double check yourself, which I think has been a big point that all the players bring up. Like, why bother with this? Because we have our caddies out there, and like the only way it really expedites play, is that if you're off the earth, I think it's the only time it's going to help you is because you don't have a yardage for that, and your caddy's got to do math and try and find a sprinkler head around him and start figuring that
No
out.
Pythagorean theorem
Grab
going
a
on out there anymore. It's
Yeah,
just
start getting the math going. But like, I think it's gonna. That's just such a unique circumstance that it's like, and usually, I mean, maybe Kiawah will be different because there's no trees. But I'll say normally when you're off that line, you're punching back out, right? Like, it's not. You don't need a number. You just need to figure out how far through the fairway or something like that, so you don't go too far. Where like now, like if you have guys basically what I'm getting at is if you have guys in the fairway using that and using their yardage book, like you just make the day so much slower because you got guys second guessing it. If their yardage is off by 1 or 2 versus what they had in the book, now they got no faith in what they're doing or their caddy, and it's like creates this kind of like toxic environment. What are your guys' thoughts on that? You think it's like beneficial? It helps? Like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it at this level. I mean, it just only comes in handy in such unique circumstances that it's like, nah, I'm good without it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a PGA Tour, right? I mean, that's something unique that they just are forced to do differently. So why bring that in? You've got players themselves saying that they don't really think it's going to speed up play. And, if a good a caddy's going to still go out and, like you said, go and do his research, in the practice rounds and everything like that and walk the course and have all their numbers. So, I mean, it's very like I said, I forgot they're even going to do this. So I'm excited to try to watch and see how many players are actually taking advantage of it and using it. But like you just said, I don't know if it's really going to make that much of a difference for them just because their caddies know that shit already. Right. So I don't know. I think it's stupid. I actually won't say stupid, but I don't think
like it's at the wrong level.
Yeah. They're on the tour. That's what also when you're watching them, it makes it so, fascinating. You're just like, holy shit, they're so good. It's just because they don't need a rangefinder to do this. Like, they know their numbers for the most part. I mean, at the time, I'm sure, though, I'm sure we're the same way, too. I mean, especially at a course that you've played a little bit now, you go up and you know exactly what you need to hit anyway. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so I agree with you there. I don't think it's really necessary, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the future going forward if they, if other tournaments try to adopt this or what's going to happen. So we'll see.
Let me ask this question. So they're allowing the rangefinders, is that strictly so they can speed up play? Is that their mentality? Like, what are their reasonings behind it?
I think that's what the angle is they're trying to take. I don't know, like, if they officially, like, claimed an angle or anything like that, but I think that's the angle they're trying to take is like, look at this. We'll let you guys use rangefinder. We'll make it quicker. When, like, we're saying it's like these guys, like, one, it's like I think that's part of being a good professional is getting a good caddy, and like your caddy's only good by like, what I'm saying? It's like part of that guy's career. So you're like taking away part of his like, skill set, right? That he develops, and like he knows his guy, so he knows what he wants to see in his yardage book, and like they go through preparing those on a week to week, course to course basis, whatever you want to call it. It kind of takes that out of it, which is kind of part of the art of it. These guys are so robotic and how they hit the ball, not like on a rope, on a string. They do what they want with the golf ball so often. It's like that part of it adds to like one, the content that we get to see as a viewer of them going through that yardage book, talking to their guy, like all that stuff. And like, I don't know. I think it's going to make it a little clunky. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's just going to make it a little weird, and it's like unnecessary. It's only going to add value or process when somebody's off the earth. And it's like,
I think it's going to take longer if you're off the earth. Like, oh, where's that sprinkler head? Is it over? And like, I can just see some idiot, Bryson, for example, taking forever because he can't find a stupid sprinkler head to know that he's 172 out so he can club up and use a fucking pitching wedge. I mean,
what year was it that Spieth won? The British, and he was on like 15. He went way the hell right.
I think it was 2017.
17? Yeah, he went way the hell right, and he had to take a drop around like all the tour vans on the range. I forget who he was playing with, but playing partner was just like taking a nap in the middle of the fairway because it took them like 25 minutes to figure out where to drop and what the yardage was and all that stuff. So I think in those circumstances, like you were saying, Matt, that it's definitely going to help in those times. But yeah, I agree. It takes away from the whole creativity and the I don't know, a lot of what the caddies, I guess, do.
Yeah, exactly.
It
It makes
kinda-
it weird. Like,
and
it's like like AI taking human jobs. Like
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go.
but
Robots. Here they come.
It's it's like that. To that
Shout out Jamie Flynn.
like
oh God.
if that's their idea, right? Speed up play. When you have, because it only, if we're really going to nitpick, it only really matters for guys that are in the top 20 in contention, and especially out on for a major. There's rules officials everywhere. Give the rules officials a rangefinder, and if the guy's off the earth, you hand it to him. It's already certified, right? Like it's a clean rangefinder, doesn't have any slope crap in it. They get to use it for that one shot, or for whatever, if they need it. Then the rest of the day you go on with your book. I mean, if they haven't used it to date, it couldn't have been that important. We've played professional golf for hundreds of years, right? Like they've figured it out for 100 years or whatever it's been. So it's like, I don't know how necessary it is, but
I'm interested.
Oh,
Just real quick, I'm interested to see what rangefinder Bryson is using, because a lot of them have that plus minus yard. And did he go through a testing cycle of 15 different
100%.
rangefinders to figure out the accuracy of all of these from different yardages? Does he have 4 out there because one's better from inside like 100 yards and one's better from 300 plus? I don't know, and I'm interested to see.
Honestly, 100% he did all of that, and he probably will have more than one with him out there.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, literally, that's what he's thinking.
It's what he's going to do, 100%.
Yeah.
It's what he's going to do, and he's going to, he'll be the guy using it in fairways that we're all watching coverage of, and we're like, oh my God, dude, enough, move on.
The guy he's been known to pace off wedges from 85 yards out and pace them off. So, he's going to use the rangefinder. He might pull the rangefinder on a putt just to figure out the exact yardage and go through his, I forget the putting method that he uses, but Tiger used to use it too, where, you putt to a point and that whole science behind his putting that he has going. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be interesting.
I don't know if I can handle that science, but anyways, I think that's a good transition into the horses for the courses here, what type of golf course this is. Who do we expect to play well? I know the PGA was here in 2012 and Rory won by 8. I think he shot 13 under. Next closest was 5. This was his second major after Colonial, which he also won by 8. So this was really Rory's solidifying the coming out party at Colonial the year before and being yeah, no, I didn't do that on accident. I'm here to win majors by a lot. Did it again, won 2 in 2014, and then has since cooled off quite a bit, but in the majors at least. But who do you guys, I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about the golf course, but everything I'm gathering, right, it's obviously the wind's going to be a factor. And if you look at that leaderboard from 2012, it's a lot of European guys, which know how to flight the ball, play and win, keep it low, creative around the greens, etc., which it seems like that's the type of course we're dealing with here. I don't know, who do you guys think, stands out as a guy that really fits this place, that may not have great form and things going to kind of right the ship, or vice versa, a guy that, super high in the rankings or top in the world, whatever you want to call it, but game doesn't feel like it fits here and might not have the week that people are expecting?
I mean, we'd be silly not to say Dustin Johnson, right? I mean, from everything, like you said, that we've been gathering, you got to hit it long and you got to hit your irons well. And who does that better than the number one in the world, right? So, I mean, it's tough not to kind of pick him. It's tough not to really look at Rory going into this, right? Just with his history here and how he's been playing these what was it? He won 2 weeks ago, was it? He hits it long enough. And obviously we're just talking about Bryson. So I feel like you really got to look at the long hitters. And that's kind of what I look at first, at least. But I don't know. It's so I'm so bad at picks. All of them are really so far off the planet.
Yeah.
Even looking at Jordan going into it, just seeing how long the course is, he doesn't necessarily hit it long, and yeah, he can scrap it around, but I just feel like a course with that. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I got nothing else.
And I just feel like it's a Spiethy type of week. Like I don't know.
I know that's
Like,
the other thing. That's what I also
it
feel.
just feels like it's Spieth. Like yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree. Like spoiler alert, he's my pick again. Weird. But so on my drive today, I was even listening to Foreplay, and Riggs was saying, he just played in a member guest tournament somewhere, and he got partnered against Michael Greller and Bones, and they're just, yeah, right. So and he was just saying like the way they're talking about Jordan's game going into this week makes him feel that much more confident and picking Spieth to win. And like, me just hearing that and already being a Spieth guy, I'm just like, all right, I might as well keep riding this Spieth train. But it's so hard because it's such a long golf course. But yeah, that's me
like,
on that.
Like Morikawa is another one. I feel like you don't. I don't know. I know you see the 7,800 yards, you see the wind. It's like, oh, we're gonna hit the ball. Like it's gonna be a long hitter's course. But I feel like at the same time, it's just going to be ball striking. Like you got to put yourself in a spot to make pars. And with this wind and some of the length off of some of the tees, it's like fairways could be a premium here. And I don't know. So that's why I like Spieth and Morikawa are just sticking out to me. Where
I think the biggest thing with Spieth is that he didn't win the week before the major this time, right?
Yep.
So he got that right. He played well, but didn't win the week before. Which like he won Valero, and then we're like, damn it, right before the Masters, like we needed you to peak then. So he's got that going for him. I think he's got the right amount of momentum without like, winning the week before and having to deal with all that. Morikawa, I agree. It's just going to be tough defending, I think.
Back to back, yeah.
That'll be a weird thing for him. But with the ball striking aspect, I think that's what it comes down to, right? Because like if you play in the wind, like especially into the wind, if you don't hit the shot you're trying to hit, it just expedites your misses like times a zillion. So especially that, for the first 3 days at least, that finishing stretch, like 17's like 240 over water or 230 over water. Like you got to hit a 3-iron or 4-iron, or it's downhill quite a bit, so doesn't play truly 240. But if you're going to be into the wind, like you can't catch it a groove low, or you're in the water by 20 yards. So it's like. Yeah. It's going to expedite ball striking, I think, and that's going to be, I think, why I'm on that same train, Paul, of like a Spieth Morikawa, because even though it's 7,800 yards, you're getting 12 holes or so, 10 holes that are dead downwind, and it's also like it's a firm place. I want to say, given the coast, I feel like it's got to be. Yeah. I might be off on that, but like with wind, with no trees, stuff like that gives me very firm course vibes where drivers are going to roll out a good 20, 30 yards and stuff like that. And these guys, I mean, they play long golf course all the time. I mean, you give them a little downwind, like a 500-yard par 4, as ridiculous as this sounds, is going to be driving like an 8-iron for these guys if you get downwind. You know what I'm saying? So 7,800 does scare me away from some of the shorter hitters. But at the same time, I think the iron play is going to be more important, and controlling that golf ball in the wind into the greens is going to be much more important than hitting at 330 versus 300. I think it's about having that firm control out of the fairway and being able to work with the wind versus not only guessing the wind, but guessing the way it comes out of the rough on top of that. Like that never can't have that many variables. So I'm leaning ball strikers course, but I don't know, TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I got two guys I'm looking at this week. We'll start with my top guy, Cam Smith. For whatever reason, anytime I have a tough course, like I constantly sleep on him. Whether it's wind, whether it's tough course, like he's always up there, finds a way. And then if the wind does break, right, if Sunday changes, he's going to be around there. And I think he's a guy that if he's around there late, he just magically goes off and goes on these awesome stretches. And I feel like this is a tournament that he does well. Hasn't he played Hilton Head too, which is not too far, and has actually done pretty well on that course. I just remember watching him like at a course in this area. He does well.
He's a grinder, dude. He's a gritty player. Like it doesn't always look pretty, but somehow the score is always really, really good.
Yeah.
I also love like I mean, these aren't like exactly spoiler picks, but like Victor Hovland has been playing unbelievable golf the last like month or so, like just racking up T10s, and at all different kinds of golf courses, which makes you think that it's like he knows what he's doing with his golf ball. Like it's not just, you know, getting the right course for the week or whatever. Like he's doing it on all sorts of different venues, which shows me it's like he's got total control and it's a ball striking fest versus just like, you know, getting hot for a week or whatever. And a guy like Xander, who seems to be a beast in the majors. His regular season or, you know, regular PGA Tour starts this year have been probably a little subpar for his standards. He hasn't really been close to winning since Waste Management besides the Masters, but that's kind of what I'm getting to with it. This guy just shows up at majors. It's like 6 top 15 or 6 top 10s, top 5s in 15 major starts, like something ridiculous like that. So when the golf gets difficult, he seems to kind of rise to the top, and I think it's really due to his ball striking. He's just got such a good all-around game that I think the harder it gets, he's just thrives. He stays relatively even keel, not totally DJ like, but very similar, where it's just like you don't know whether the putt he just made was for eagle or for bogey. He just kind of walks up and picks it out of the hole, and it's like moves on. Where when golf gets difficult, those type of players usually succeed a little bit more because they're okay when they make a bogey versus, you know, some more emotional guys like a Billy Horschel or even a JT, which we saw at the Masters. He made a couple bogeys on Saturday, and it's like he was beside himself. So I think that bodes well for a guy like Xander, even Victor. Honestly, I think those are who I'm like picking for top 10s this week. Is like those two. I feel like they're both either ball striking phenoms or Victor's just on a heater right now. It seems like, and he's about to break through. So that's
another thing I've heard this week is this course, because of the type of the grass the greens are. You guys might be able to help me out. Begins with a P. I just can't pronounce it. That's why
I know what you're talking about, but I can't. I don't remember.
Is it Poana?
Yeah,
no, it's not Poana. Something. It's like almost 2 words. I feel like.
Yeah, I just saw it today. Let me look it up. I got Paspalum.
That's it. But I was reading up on it, and it actually makes bad putters have better putts, if that makes any sense. Like it kind of, I wouldn't say corrects anything, but it allows them to have better results just in general.
Yeah. There's something about it where it's I'm trying to figure out what the like no laying up guys are saying. They're like a 10-footer versus a 25-footer is like a big difference this week in like make percentage, but like 3-putt percentage goes down on greens like this. It's something along those lines where it's harder to make putts, but also harder to miss them, if that makes sense. Like they all just kind of end up in the same spot. Like they're subject to kind of wiggling, but like they always kind of funnel a little bit. They're always kind of gearing towards the hole.
That just makes me love Spieth more.
Yeah.
With his mid-range putting.
Yeah, exactly.
One guy that I really like,
Jordan, dude, this week, if you look back at his last 2 or 3 months, he's been like top 15 every single start except the Players. He missed the cut. He's been like top 15 for about 2 or 3 months now every time he tees it up. And the way he played he wins Augusta if he doesn't have the worst putting year of his career at Augusta National. He was 50th out of 54 that made the cut in putting that week, and he came in 3rd. So, like, if he putts halfway decent, he wins Augusta, which is 2 in a row. And last week, he just didn't have the firepower for all 4 rounds, but, it was there for a few of them. And, he made, 3 eagles last week. Like, I think between him and Victor, man, they're both just, they seem such locks this week. Like, it's I don't know, and especially with Jordan with the irons lately, it's a little scary what he's been able to do with those. And if it's going to come down to wind and having to hit such very precise iron shots to get the wind right and the quadrant right on the greens and all that fun stuff that comes with major championship golf, I think he's got to be at the top. I don't see how he doesn't finish in the top 10. Because even if he misses, which he does every once in a while still, his scrambling's so good, and he'll make pars, he'll make bogeys when it should be doubles, things like that make him a major champion, right?
And with that, should we do personal picks?
Let's get these picks out.
Not it.
You go first.
All right.
We know who you want.
No, well, yeah. Obviously, I'm gonna go with Jordan, but like I'm between DJ, Jordan. I'm kind of leaning towards P. Reed because I could use a good piss people off win. You know, I'll defend P. Reed till I die. That's my boy. But just look out for him. That's all I'm gonna say. And obviously, look out for my boy Sung J M. Just look out for him. Ball striker. So.
No, I expect a little John Daly out of you, Joey.
I mean, hold on.
Does he have a cart this week? There we go.
91 at Crooked Stick, baby.
Yeah. Is he allowed to ride in a cart this week? Because I know that was a big deal at the PGA a few years ago.
Yeah, that was at Bethpage. I think they wouldn't allow him, right?
Yeah, at Bethpage, yeah.
I don't know. We've been playing at Champion Tour events, so
gosh, maybe he's got the physical.
I'm let him either take a cart or his knees better. I don't know.
He's kicking cancer's ass still.
Facts.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go on a limb here, boys. You know, I don't like to make this easy. I'm gonna be sweating this week. The meat sweats. I'm going Justin Rose.
Yes.
I don't know why. And I'm going off of the Masters. He looked good there. I think it was the Masters, right? Came out hot. I think he's going to do well this week. You know, I think he plays decently well in the wind. And this is a crapshoot. I don't think some of your top guys that we're necessarily discussing here today is just going to be around it. I think there's going to be a real challenge, and I think there's just going to be a lot of variables where some of these guys that are just going to shoot out of their ass and be up there. I don't think this is going to be a tournament that you see everybody at the top. I don't know. I think you're going to have a lot of guys that come up there, and I feel like with that, Justin Rose might get some help if he putts and doesn't putt like a complete jackass. But well, if that happens and he putts like a jackass, then it's completely wrong. But I go deep this week and pick him.
I like that because granted, you know, like nothing changes in 9 years since it was last held here, but I think he was top 5 in 2012. So got some good vibes in the one time the tournament was played here. Who cares? It was almost a decade ago. We're just going to ride with that.
And he doesn't have those god-awful clubs anymore. So he's trending. Yeah, we talked about trending on our gambling, which check it out. We will have that out tomorrow. But, he's trending in my direction upwards. So
trending up, and he's off the Hamna shit clubs. So I'm with you there. Paul, who you got?
I'm going to go with Big T Tony Finau.
Oh,
you know,
somebody's ready to learn.
He's always around. Yeah, I'm ready for the roller coaster. He's always around. He's always around during majors, and he's played majors well for the last like 3-4 years. And I feel like it's just, you know, the clock's ticking, and he might, you know, hit a few shots, roll in a couple putts, and find himself hoisting the Wanamaker at the end of the week.
Big
yeah,
T.
you're gonna regret that pick, Paul.
Big T.
I might. I don't care.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But I did like the comment that he made this week. He was like, didn't he say something like, there's not many golfers that think they can go out and win a major, and I'm one of those guys that think that I can.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
even barely won. When he like,
he's got the mindset. He's got the mindset.
Hey, if he's gonna do that, how's your head, Joe?
Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt, boys.
Yeah, like, don't play with walls, kids.
Fuck me, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I think he's got a chance.
I do think, like Paul said, he's always going to be around. Whether he gets it done or not, it's a different question. But I would be very confident that he'll be in that top 10 come Sunday, where he's within striking distance. And he'll probably make a few early birdies and climb a little bit, and then the infamous kind of lull back 9 to lose by 3. And, you know.
What ended up happening when you picked him last? Didn't he shoot like 6 over in the first round?
Yeah. No, I picked him at like that PGA West way back in the season, and he missed the cut. He shot like 8 over the first day, and I was like, all right.
And I told you.
You're going to regret it.
Oh, well. Best of luck to you, Paulie.
But I'm going to go, and honestly, we didn't really talk about a lot with God, I don't know if I can pick him. Shout out not picking him, but we did not talk about Rory a lot for a guy who won by 8 last time the PGA Championship was held here. I know he won 2 weeks ago, like you said, Joe, but like he did it without driving it all that well, and I think he's
Yeah.
going to drive it like really, really, really well this week. Just because when he misses, it's not by a little amount. I just don't think it's all the way there for him yet. I could be totally wrong. He could turn around and tell me to fuck myself and win by 10 again. But I'm gonna go with Victor. I think he's just top fives everywhere, and he's just I don't know. He just strikes the shit out of the ball. I think he's just been trending so well that I think he pops out. I think this is the one where he wins the big one and no longer wins like the Barracuda or whatever he's won a couple of now. But I think this is the showing out party for Victor Hovland, and people on a national level get to know who he is and how good he's been playing for the last 6 months. But
you know what I love is like it's always once a tournament. They got the glare, they got the camera shining on Victor Hovland. There's like the sun shining in his eyes, and he's like, making some weird squint face. It happens every single coverage. The guy's like trying to see, like after he hits a shot, hits a moon missile right through it. He's like, can't even see it. It's so funny. It's like, you gotta watch it though. It's every single time. He's like,
dude, and his player profile picture or whatever you want to call it that they have on the thing, he looks stoned. He looks absolutely blitzed. And I think he's like made jokes of it and stuff like that, like made light of it. Where he like you said, he's just like got this weird squint and he's like kind of like smiling. It's like, dude, you look roasted. And those are like his player profile picture. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Kiawah. Love a major championship. One thing I want to quickly hit on before we wrap here is coverage this week for all of our listeners. If you don't know already, we got golf every which way possible, I think, this week. Granted, it's not going to be like the Masters where you get to watch every player, every shot, every group, whatever. But ESPN Plus is live at 7 a.m. Eastern every day, or is it Thursday, Friday?
No, there's one day it's like 8 a.m. or maybe Saturday.
Either way, it's ESPN Plus, which you have to subscribe to. So just go do it now because you're going to want to watch the golf. So ESPN Plus until about 1, and then I think it switches to regular ESPN on Thursday, Friday, and we'll go to CBS on the weekends. I believe I got that right.
Correct. Yes.
But basically from the first tee shot every day till coverage concludes, it's on TV. You just got to subscribe to ESPN Plus in order to watch it all from beginning to end. Otherwise, you got to wait till about 1 o'clock every day to watch it on ESPN or CBS, given what day it is. But I just want to say shout out to ESPN for just showing us the golf all day, every day. The whole thing. It's always my complaint. I know it's a major, so like we need to get it. But even when it's not a major, like I just feel like if you're paying for a subscription, there's got to be a way to get people out there to show it to you from beginning to end. And I'm excited to watch ESPN Plus. It also is nice to hear different voices every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like Scott Van Pelt, I love when he gets in on the golf and stuff like that. So it'll be good to be able to watch golf from like the first tee shot come Thursday all the way through to the end of the thing without having to, get some weird or only be able to watch one group or something PGA Tour live. Like it's I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be nice to get all that golf in and
good to give the people what they want, right? Yeah. Like I mean, golf's growing. This year on the golf courses is more people than ever. Like this game is growing and it's growing fast. Like we want to see these guys playing all throughout. So I'm glad that ESPN stepped up and was able to do this. But I'm hoping we can do this amongst other tournaments too. I mean, what they're doing is above and beyond what we're looking for as of right now. Like, I mean, CBS didn't do anything for the Masters, but no, just glad to see ESPN step up to the plate and do something well for the people.
And with that,
good. Sorry, you guys go ahead.
No, I think that basically wraps it all up, boys. I think that's what we got.
Yeah, it's major week, boys. So I'm looking forward to watching it. And as always, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you listen to your podcast, Instagram, Bogey.proof, Twitter, Bogey.proof tweets. And then
Bogey.proof. Didn't we change it?
No, you couldn't do the dot on Twitter. Remember?
No, I thought we just couldn't. I don't know.
Maybe it's just Bogey-proof.
Just look up Bogey-proof. You'll find
it. Type Bogey-proof into the thing. Make sure you get on the YouTube. Like we mentioned, we got the gambling little laboratory cooking every week, giving you, our daily fantasy picks, top 10s, matchups. We go through every different angle you can with gambling, talk a little bit more course history, all that fun stuff, similar to what we do on here. Just a little bit more dollars and cents talk than you might be used to at the regular pod. So make sure you check out the YouTube as well. And cheers, boys. Always good talking major championship week, and looking forward to watching some high quality golf and a major champion crown come Sunday down in Kiawah.
Cheers, boys. It's gonna be a fun week. Be prepared for the wind.